Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney. Today I have got 3 fall Dollar Tree DIYs for you. They are super easy to do, and this will probably be my last fall DIY video for this season because I am getting ready to roll out Christmas. So let's get into these DIYs. For this first DIY, you're going to need 6 of these wooden pumpkins from Dollar Tree. The first step is to go ahead and fill in the holes. I just used some spackling to get those nice and sealed up. Your very first pumpkin, you are going to want to make pure white. So I'm just using some white chalk paint. This is actually from Folk Art, and I'm just going to paint one good coat on this pumpkin. Now, if you don't want to do this color scheme that I'm using, which is the white, grays to black, you could certainly do oranges, you could do yellows, you could do red if you wanted to, browns. It's totally up to you, whatever fall color you would like to use. Once this first pumpkin is completely painted with white, the second pumpkin, you're going to use that same white that you have down and add a little bit of a darker gray. I'm going to be putting in some of the Waverly Steel. I'm going to mix those together, and then for my second pumpkin, paint it with one coat of this mixture. The third pumpkin, I'm going to use Silver Lining by Waverly Chalk Paint. One thick coat goes on this pumpkin. The fourth pumpkin, I'm going to use Steel by Waverly Chalk Paint. Again, another thick coat onto the pumpkin. And then I'm going to use, for the fifth pumpkin, Elephant. This is also by Waverly Chalk Paint. No other mixing is happening in any other's paint. Only the second pumpkin had a little bit of mixing involved. When you get to the sixth pumpkin, you're going to do something a little special. So you're going to start with this sixth pumpkin by painting it white again. This is the same white that you used on the first pumpkin, and do one good coat. I'm going to use my heat gun to help speed up this process, and then we'll be ready to move to the next step to get this pumpkin ready. Now I'm going to take some Dollar Tree stickers, and for hello, I'm going to spell out HELLO. And then for fall, I was going to use these same stickers, but then I found some that I had gotten from Hobby Lobby that were in my stash. So for fall, I wanted that word to be a little bit bigger, so I ended up using those letters. But you certainly could use all of these letters for the stickers. You want to stick them down. Now you're going to notice that my pumpkin here isn't completely covered. I kind of wanted a little bit of the natural color. As I was painting it, I decided to not go super full coverage. It's up to you. And I'm going to stick these stickers down and make sure that they're stuck to the pumpkin. Now you're going to take whatever black paint that you want to use. I'm using ink by Waverly, and I'm going to put one good coat. Now I will say this, the paint that I was using, it was the very bottom of this jar, so it kind of went on super thick. But it still turns out fine. So just one coat is all you need, and you want to make sure that you cover the letters completely so that when you go to peel the letters off, you are left with the nice white letters underneath it.
Gonna stay in this moment, gonna lay here on the grass.
I let the paint dry for just a little bit, not completely dry, but pretty close to being dry. And all I'm going to do is take a weeding tool, and now I'm just going to go ahead and go in and peel off all of my letters.
I don't need to feel lonely, I am finally home at last.
Once the letters were off, I needed to go in and do just a little bit of cleanup. I didn't do anything to prevent any type of bleeding. When I do this Dollar Tree sticker hack, often I do have to go in and kind of clean it up a little bit, but I'm just using a very small point paintbrush, and it didn't really take much at all to get it back to where I wanted it. And so I'm just going to kind of go in and just clean this up a little bit, and it'll be good as new.
And I don't mind being gone on adventures for a while. No.
Now it's time to lay out all my pumpkins. So my original plan was to use a Dollar Tree canvas for this. I had all the pumpkins laid out, and then all of a sudden I got this idea for a Christmas DIY. So I have set that canvas aside. I have several signs from Hobby Lobby that I have purchased on clearance, and so I just went in there, I grabbed this one. It was already painted white. So it worked out great. So now I'm just gonna lay out my pumpkins, and then I need to figure out the embellishments that I wanna do for the pumpkin. So I pulled out some buffalo check ribbon as well as the gray raffia that I purchased from Dollar Tree, and I did a haul about how I was gonna use it for fall. Okay, I'm going to try to describe this raffia the best way I can. So this gray raffia is like school bathroom toilet paper. Nobody really likes to touch it. It's kind of non-existent. When you feel it, it just doesn't feel right whatsoever. And the brown is like Charmin. Okay, so the raffia, it's a fake. It's just a fake. So anyway, I messed with it for a little bit thinking, okay, I can do it. But I don't know, guys. It's just weird. I would say it's faux raffia. So I end up going with the buffalo check ribbon in the end.
'Cause the best thing about it is I know I'm coming back.
To secure the pumpkins to my sign, I'm just going to use some hot glue. And then once I've got them all arranged and they're secured down to my sign, I'm going to go in with that buffalo check ribbon and secure that to the Hello Fall pumpkin with a little bit more of hot glue.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why.
I did want to quickly mention that after I got my bow glued down, I did want to add a little bit more color to this. So I glued down some little green leaves that came from Hobby Lobby, and I think it gives it just the right amount of color.
Why, don't know why, I'm always feeling homesick. Oh.
For the second DIY, we're going to be working with one of these little art pieces from Dollar Tree. So here's a fun fact. When you see things like this, where it's something that obviously I've already kind of painted, these are DIY projects that I really tried hard to bring to life, and then I ditched them. So this was painted white. I painted white all over it except for the inside. So I'm going back now and going ahead and painting the inside of this little canvas art frame.
All I know, all I know, all I know is this is where my heart is.
The next step, you're going to need one of these toy snakes from Dollar Tree. So if you don't like snakes, you might have to find a friend to do this part. But you want to cut off the snake's head. I'm just using one of these little hand saws, but honestly, you could probably use a box cutter because it's not a solid piece that you're cutting through. As you can see, there's slats. So you want to cut off the head, you want to cut off the tail, and save the tail because you will need that a little later on. After the head and the tail were trimmed off, I trimmed 2 more little segments of the snake off so that I can get this just the right size that I need it to be. Now grab the tail again, and you're going to cut a little piece of the base of the tail off, and this is going to become a stem for you. So just a little trim here, a little trim there, and eventually you're going to end up with exactly what you need.
Places where the beauty never ends.
It's painting time. So now I'm going to grab some of the Monarch chalk paint by Folk Art, and I'm just going to paint 1 coat all over the snake. And then for the little stem that I cut off, which was the little base of the tail, I'm just going to take some brown wax and I'm going to do 1 coat of wax on that piece.
Different cities, friendly faces, and perhaps I'm going back. But I don't.
While the snake and the stem dry, I'm going to take some more of that brown wax and a makeup sponge, and I'm going to go ahead and go along the edges and then just basically brush all over this thing until I get the look that I want. So first I kind of start with the edges, and then I kind of go back and stamp on the sides and just get it exactly how I want it.
Be chasing every dream that I have. Oh, no. 'Cause the thing is, I've got more love here than I can bear.
I took some burlap ribbon. This is just the 6-inch burlap ribbon, and I'm going to trim down a square, and then I'm going to end up hot gluing this to the inside of this little thing just to kind of give this a little more dimension. I thought it needed something other than just having a white background, and I'm just going to use some hot glue and anchor this piece of burlap inside the frame.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you.
It's time to go ahead and assemble everything. So I'm going to grab my snake, and then I'm going to go ahead and take some hot glue, and I'm just going to glue those two pieces together. Then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead, you can kind of bend this snake and manipulate it a little bit. So I'm going to put some hot glue on the back and then kind of bend it so it's a little bit dented in at the top and the bottom. And then I'm just going to hot glue the stem down. And then the finishing touch is just to take a piece of twine and tie a little bow. And I went ahead and added a bow to this pumpkin. Up to you. You could add tendrils if you wanted. You could add leaves if you wanted to. Whatever you want to add. But this little pumpkin is all finished.
And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why I'm always feeling homesick. Oh. All I know, all I know, all I know is this is where my heart is.
For this last DIY, you're going to need 4 dice from Dollar Tree. You want to go ahead and paint them with whatever color you choose. I'm using the Plaster Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to end up putting 3 coats on all these dice. But again, you can use any color that you would like to do. Once your pumpkins are dry, I'm just going to take some brown wax, and I'm going to brush it all along the edges of the dice. When that step is finished, I'm going to be using some of these rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut out an F-A-L-L. Once those are cut out, I'm going to go ahead and just stick them on the center of the dice. And I'm just going to use something kind of hard, and I scratch my finger over it to kind of help it make sure it's stuck. But honestly, these actually went down really well. I was a little worried with it going down on a kind of painted surface, but they went down super easily, and I was very happy with how it looked when they were down.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you.
The letters are on, and now I'm ready to attach my stems with some hot glue to each of these little pumpkins. These stems are from Dollar Tree. I cut them with my miter shears. I did not film that part because the way I was doing it, I wanted to make sure I was like being safe and that it wasn't an issue. So I will definitely be showing the miter shears more often, but here's a fun challenge for you right now. When I work with these stems and I say these are from Dollar Tree, but if you don't have them, I always say the same little story. Comment down below an emoji if you know what I would say, or better yet, tell me a little story with emojis about what I always say if you don't have these stems from Dollar Tree. I would love to see you guys' interpretation for those of you who have been with me for a while and know what I always say here. All right, once those are down, I am ready to work on my leaves. Each of the pumpkins is going to get the same little leaf embellishment here. I took one of the burlap leaves from Dollar Tree and I just trimmed a little piece off. Then I took one of the leaves from Dollar Tree and I'm kind of just making my own little custom leaves here. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to secure the burlap leaf down first with some hot glue. I'm going to fold the little colorful leaf in half and go ahead and hot glue that so it kind of has a more, I don't know, 3D shape, I guess, and then just glue that on top of the burlap, and then these pumpkins are finished. You could go in and again add tendrils, you could add bows if you wanted to, whatever you want to add, berries. You could certainly, little pine cones, whatever you want to add to finish them off. But there you go, a very simple and easy pumpkin display.
I did a lot of bad things, and never did I give in, just 'cause the thought of being vulnerable made me.
There we go, 3 more Dollar Tree fall DIYs in the books. Let me know down below which one of these you like and that you might try to recreate or add your own spin to. Please tag me if you ever make any of my projects. I love to see what you guys create. Here are a few more videos you might enjoy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!